Getting at the listening part of prayer can be difficult. It can be hard to quiet our mind. It can be hard to stop wondering, worrying, thinking about things, asking questions, letting our mind go to the tasks and the work that we have to accomplish today, running down our lists, just being generally anxious about the state of the world. And yet, if we want to be engaged in an act of prayer that is both speaking and listening, there are some helpful things that we can do to help ground ourselves and be prepared for listening for God, including listening for God in the prayers of our companions and those that we've been called to care for. One way to help us ground our hearts and minds is to put forward a question, to let our wondering be not about everything that's going on, because my goodness, there's plenty to be worried about and plenty to think about, but rather to be wondering about just one thing. It could be a question of discernment, a decision that we're trying to make. It could be a question having to do with where God is present right now. We might even be asking for answers that will help us decide what to do next in very difficult circumstances. Asking God to help provide answers through doctors, nurses, other professionals. Whatever the case might be, being able to place our question at the center of the space and then let it be. Name the question out loud. Name it specifically in the presence of God. And then once that's happened, give space to let that marinate, to reflect, to check back in, and even to listen for where answers might be emerging. It can be so tempting when we're doing companion work to try to give advice. But one thing that we can do that helps people do the listening part of their prayer is to also listen with them. So, when it's our turn to be the listener and not the sharer, it's a wonderful opportunity to let the sharer put their question before God and us, and to simply dwell in the silence with it, to acknowledge that God is present, and what's more, that God longs for us to know what comes next, so that we might know how to act, and where to go, and what to do. And then, of course, when the roles are reversed and it's our opportunity to share, it can be our question that takes center stage. And in the same way, we ask our listener to let that question be simply present, to let the fact that neither of us know the answer and probably can't give any particularly meaningful advice, and to simply dwell together in the quiet, longing for an answer from God and listening deeply, both to God and one another. I hope you have a wonderful week. God bless, and I'll see you soon.